Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Marriage. We are thankful to God for another opportunity to be together and to have a discussion. I hope that as you join tonight, you're able to type your questions or give your contributions so that this discussion will be interesting and exciting. Tonight, our topic for discussion is how to handle conflict without leaving scars. And if you've been married for any number of years, you know that conflicts are not pleasant. We wish we wouldn't have conflict, but it's part of the territory. No matter how good you are, no matter how you understand each other, every once in a while, something comes up that you have to deal with. And we realize that when conflicts come up and you don't handle them properly, you're going to leave future scars. And those future scars you're going to leave are going to affect your marriage negatively. So it's important that as you know that you cannot do away with conflict. There's no way you can control conflict such that they don't ever come up. They will come up. But what we can change is how to arm ourselves, how to educate ourselves so that when conflicts come up, we resolve them in a proper way so that going forward, they don't become a problem or they don't become a scar. When conflicts are not handled properly over time, they make the marriage sour. They make satisfaction in the marriage go down. And nobody wants to have that happen to them. Many a times, all those things that people say, oh, after you've been married for a few years, marriage is no longer enjoyable and you want a new partner. Some of it is because of how we handle conflicts. If we're able to handle conflicts well, we will be able to enjoy our marriages. And even going forward, the marriage will even be better than it used to be. So there are some things that people repeatedly do that actually leave scars when they have conflict. And we're going to talk about a few of them so that if it's happening in your marriage or if you're guilty of it, you would want to take notes that going forward, maybe you do away with it so that your conflicts don't have to leave scars on your marriage. The first thing is name calling. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, when people are angry, there are some people that often run to name calling. The fact that they are angry, the fact that they are having conflict, their first line of defense is to name call. And usually, when we say name calling, we are referring to insults. The fact that you are disagreeing with somebody does not mean you should insult them because the insults are unnecessary and the insults don't make you right. When you insult somebody's intelligence, when you insult somebody's character, when you insult somebody's attitude, what you are doing is just making the whole situation more painful than it needs to be. When there's a conflict, the conflict is what we are supposed to focus on. Something didn't go right, something went on that you are not happy about. That's what we should focus on. Name calling shouldn't be a part of our conflict resolution because after you've called your partner names and resolve the conflict or you didn't even resolve it, years later your partner is going to remember that you called them names. They're going to remember that you called them, you insulted their character, you insulted their personality, and all of that had nothing to do with the conflict. So if you don't want to leave scars when you have conflict, just make sure there's no name calling. There are no insults whatsoever because insults are not going to help resolve the conflict. If anything, they're just going to increase the anger and they're going to cause both of you not to be in a proper frame of mind to resolve whatever issue was going on to start with. So name calling or insults is something that leaves scars during conflict. So it's better that we do away with it. Another thing that causes scars during conflict is belittling. This is quite similar to name calling. But you see, with name calling, it's like punch for punch. But with belittling, one person or both partners try to break the other person down. They try to make the other person feel small. They try to make the other person feel insignificant. They try to make the other person feel like they don't know what they are talking about. They try to insult the intelligence of the other person. This is a very mean thing to do to your partner. Just because you have conflict, just because you are angry, doesn't mean you have to put your partner down, make them feel small, make them feel like they don't know anything, make them feel like they don't know what they are talking about, make them feel like they are not intelligent enough, all because of conflict. We beg you, it is not necessary to belittle your partner. It is not good at all to belittle your partner just because you have conflict. Whatever conflict it is, whatever misunderstanding that you're dealing with, after you've belittled your partner, they're going to remember for years to come. And it's going to affect their self esteem, it's going to affect who they are. So long after the conflict is over, they are still going to feel bad. They are still going to feel not themselves. And if you keep doing this, you're just breaking them down. You're just destroying them. You're just messing with their minds. This is unfair and this is unjust. So belittling your partner should never be a thing that you resort to when you are handling conflict, because you may win for the day, but you'll be destroying your partner. You'll be leaving scars in your partner's mind. You'll be leaving scars in your partner's heart. Just because you want to win the argument does not mean you should belittle your partner. Once you belittle your partner, they probably will even forget what they were supposed to say or how they were going to explain themselves to just get to the bottom of the issue so that you both can resolve it. Belittling just throws your partner off, and it's a very harmful attitude. There's no need to let your partner feel less than, to feel unintelligent, to feel like a nobody. That's really mean, that's really harmful, and that's you scarring your partner. You don't need to do all of that, because even after the conflict has been resolved, your partner is going to remember and your partner is going to feel the effect. Please do not belittle your partner when you have conflict. Those are some of the things that leaves scars. Another thing that leaves scars during conflict that we are trying to avoid is stonewalling. And when we talk about stonewalling, it's more like self-explanatory, right? It's more like the person acts like a stonewall. It's like they cut off their emotions. It's like they are not talking. It's like they're still talking to you, but you can feel that kind of animosity. You can feel that they are cold towards you. You can feel that they don't open up towards you. So there are some people, once they have conflict with you or once they are angry with you, instead of addressing the issue, they just go cold, they just go silent. They'll be giving you short answers. They won't have any in-depth conversation with you. It's like they are talking to you, but you can feel and you can see that all is not well. And you can see that the communication has been reduced to a minimum. You can feel the cold and the ice between the two of you. And some people just use it as a tactic, because when they know that anytime there's conflict and they do that to you, even when you are right, you will turn around and apologize, because some people don't like that kind of cold atmosphere. Some people don't like that kind of tension. It makes them feel bad. So even if it's not their fault, they'll hurry up and apologize. That is you not fighting fair. That is you not being nice. That is you, in a way, bullying your partner so that they will cave in and then admit that they are wrong, even if they are not wrong. So cutting off your emotions, being cold towards your partner, not communicating, just shutting your partner out emotionally and cutting down your communication to a bare minimum. What we've labeled as stonewalling is one of the painful things that you can use to scar your partner when you're having conflict. It's unfair, and even after the issue has been resolved, your partner is going to remember how you were cold towards them, how you shut off communication. And in essence, in future, they may be scared to bring anything up because they think that if they start or if they mention it, you're going to stonewall them again. You're going to be cold towards them again. So it sort of even prevents them from being able to voice their concerns in the future. A lot of people say that women do that a lot. It's like the wives. We like being cold whenever there's an issue. And some people give the example of sometimes you can see that your wife is moody. You ask her what's wrong, and they'll be like, everything is fine. They won't explain what's going on. They won't open up and talk. But you can see clearly that from their body language and from their responses to your attempts to talk to them, and the fact that they will not initiate conversation, you can see that there's something going on. The atmosphere is tense. And you're not comfortable, you're not happy. But when you ask them, they'll be like, there's nothing. They are just stonewalling you. And it's not only wives, but in general, a lot of people think that wives are the ones who employ this a lot. Hello, Mami Nikwe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm expecting your question, so let it flow tonight. Yeah, so if you get angry or if something happens, if there's conflict, and instead of addressing it, you just shut down, you keep a straight face, and then you give short answers. And whenever you are asked about it, you're like, you're fine. Whenever they try to have your partner tries to have conversation, you're like, there's nothing wrong. Meanwhile, you're not yourself. Meanwhile, there's tension between the two of you. That's painful. And that's not fair. If there's conflict, it's important that you come and you address it instead of creating that tension and making your partner feel like stressed out, and yet you don't want to address the issue. Hello, Sister Vivian. Long time. I'm so happy to see you. Welcome on board. So for those who just joined, we are talking about the things that we do during conflict that can scar your partner. Mami Nikwe says, these men. Mami Nikwe, we have to learn a few things that will help us in conflict because we cannot avoid conflict. But when the conflict comes, we have to learn a few things and unlearn a few things that make the conflict leave scars so that going forward, we're able to resolve conflict without issues. We've talked about name calling or insults. We've also talked about belittling or making your partner feel like they are not smart enough, they are not intelligent, they don't know what they're talking about. And we've also talked about stonewalling. And we said that it's often said that wives do that a lot. They won't say what's wrong. They'll just be cold. They'll just withdraw. And then there will be tension in the house. And yet nobody is speaking up about what is going on. All these things, right after they happen, they're going to leave scars on your marriage. They're going to leave scars in your communication so that going forward, your partner may even be afraid to bring things to you. Things do not have to be this way. So another thing to avoid when handling conflicts, the things that bring scars in conflict management, is bringing up other conflicts. Sometimes when there's a conflict and you're trying to resolve it. Hello, Sister Elsie. Thank you for joining. You are so welcome. Yes, so sometimes people, when they bring conflict, then One partner will go and bring other issues not related to the conflict that is on the table, the topic that is on the table that you are trying to resolve. They'll go and bring something different. I don't know whether they are trying to muddy the water so that you don't get to the bottom of it, or they are not interested in what you brought up, so they are bringing something different. I don't know what that is. But you see, conflicts happen often. And sometimes when you're trying to fix one issue and then you keep bringing up other unrelated issues, you realize that nothing gets resolved. So it's important that when you're trying to fix one conflict, you stay on topic and talk about that conflict alone. Leave the 99 others for another time. Because if you try to solve everything at once, it's not going to work. Mami Nikwe says, is it not better to be quiet than to say something and regret it? I mean, Nikwe, you make a very good point. But the thing with stonewalling is that it takes a long time. If in the moment you feel that you are too angry, you don't want to discuss it, the thing to do is to be able to say that, oh, honey, I know you really want to talk about this, but I would rather talk about it another time because right now I'm not in the frame of mind for us to have a fruitful discussion. Or just simply say, can we please talk about this later? And when you say, can we talk about this later, you have to mean it. You have to be able to make sure that you who said, let's talk about it later, you are able to bring it up later for the both of you to talk about it. Because if you say, let's talk about it later, and you never come back to it, next time you say, let's talk about it later, your partner will not listen. So for you to be quiet in the moment, that is good. But you cannot be quiet forever. There's an Akan saying that says that the knock or the slap that is yours, it's better for you to take it early. When you run away from conflict, it's not going anywhere. It's going to stay until you fix it. So if you need to be quiet in the moment because maybe you are too angry or you are too stressed, you don't want to address it there and then, that's fine. But what we are talking about with the stonewalling is that the person will not address it at all. For weeks, for months, they just have that cold attitude and they won't ever bring it up. They'll just let it be until they are satisfied and then they break that mood. If you want to be quiet in the moment, that's fine. But no matter what, that issue needs to be talked about. And if you are the person who says, let's talk about this later, be faithful enough to go and bring it up when you are ready so that it can be talked about. Because there's no way around conflict. If you don't deal with it, it's only going to pile up and become even worse. The better thing to do if there's a conflict is to deal with it. Yes, so we are trying to fish out some of the things that leave scars during conflict resolution. We just say that one conflict. Instead of staying with the topic and fixing it, they just want to jump to another thing. You're going to leave scars this way. The issue at hand is not going to be fixed. So when you're dealing with conflict, finish one thing, let the other issues wait until you have time to go deal with the other issues as well. Another thing that leaves scars during conflict is that sometimes when you have issues to discuss with your partner, they come up and be like, oh, but you're also not perfect. I mean, what does that even mean? The fact that you brought up an issue to be discussed doesn't mean you are perfect. It only means that here and now you have an issue that you think both of you need to address. What is, but you are also not perfect about? It's not fair for you to tell your partner that they are not perfect when they are trying to bring something up. In fact, as you know that they are not perfect, when they also do something wrong, you also bring it up so that they can also realize that they are not perfect. But for you to come up with, but you're also not perfect when your partner is trying to address issues with you, that's not fair. That will not help you to fix the issue. And that's going to leave scars for both of you. It is not good to be like, you're also not perfect. When you say that, you're trying to say that just because your partner is not perfect, whenever there's an issue, they should just keep quiet. Usually, when you keep quiet when there's an issue, all that is going to happen is that the issues are going to pile up until one day it explodes. And even if they don't pile up, once there's something bothering you, your communication gets weird, your emotions get twisted, and the ease of communication between the two of you, it becomes weird. So it's important that when there's an issue to be addressed, don't hit your partner with, but you are also not perfect. Of course, they know they are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So it goes without saying. They already know. And as you know that they are not perfect, next time that you have an issue to address, you too bring it up so that your partner will also know that they are not perfect. There are some people who feel like just because I don't complain when you make a mistake, you should also not complain when I make a mistake. You are not serving anybody. You're just leaving issues unaddressed, and you're just creating scars. It's important that when there are issues, you bring it up, you resolve it, and then both of you can have the peace of mind to be able to be happy in the marriage, or to be able to have a clean conscience going forward. Another thing that does not help in conflict is dismissiveness. Usually, with dismissiveness, it's more like your partner brings up something that is really eating them up, and then your response is, but this is something little, but this doesn't matter, this is not important. So it's like whatever issue that they bring up, you just dismiss it, you just brush it aside, like it's not important enough, it's not significant enough for you guys to address. When you do that, you really scar your partner, you really make your partner feel sad, because what may be very little to you may be very important to them. We've talked about the fact that men and women are different, and we all have different personalities. So whatever may be important to you may not be important to your partner. So what you see as little may be something very big to your partner. So if your partner brings something up and you just dismiss it and say that, oh, this is bad, but this is not important, but this is too little, or but this you shouldn't even be bringing this up, that is unfair. When you keep doing that, you are leaving scars with your partner. You are letting your partner feel like what's important to them is not important to you. And in essence, as time goes on, they are going to think that they don't matter to you and that you really don't care about them. And then some of these things that will lead to the fact that next time you ask them what's going on, and they'll be like, everything is fine, because they know that when they tell you something, you're going to say it's not important. You're going to dismiss it. You're going to act like, oh, they are being immature for bringing it up. No. When your partner brings something up to you, even if you think it's too little, it's not little to them. It's important to them. So it's important that you hear them out, and then you find out what it is they need from you. Maybe ask them, so what did I do in this situation that made you feel this bad? In future, if it should happen again, what should I do? Or how do you expect me to respond so that you will not feel bad or you will not feel hurt? Please don't go telling your partner that this is nothing, or this doesn't matter, or this is not important. Because know that what is important to you may not be important to them, or what is important to them may seem unimportant to you. But just to be fair, you need to take them seriously. You need to try and understand where they are coming from so that next time you know how to deal with them. Okay. So now we are trying to fish out the things that leave scars so that we will hop onto the things that would help us fix conflict. The last one is preferring third party options or solutions. Let's say you have a conflict with your partner, and instead of listening to what your partner is trying to communicate to you, you rather decide that what somebody else said, maybe what your mother said, or what your sister said, or what your friend said, is more important than what your partner is asking of you. Let's say your partner comes to you about something that you did. I'm trying to find a safe example here. And then you decide that even my mom thinks it's all right, so I should do it that way. So Celsi says also, when your spouse keeps forgetting your concerns. Ow, this one is a deep one. If your spouse keeps forgetting what's important to you, that makes you feel like they don't care, or you don't matter to them, or whatever you said, they were just listening so that you hurry up and finish and go away. But they really did not listen, they really do not care, and they are really not making any plans to fix the issue that you spoke about. To be honest, this is really painful and this is really unfair. Hey, mommy. And if you keep doing that to your partner,
I'm gonna go make myself some eggs, bacon, and rolls.
Sure, Nadia, go ahead. And this will make you feel like you don't matter to your partner, and it will leave scars with your partner if you keep doing this to them. How are they going to know they are important to you when they discuss stuff with you and then you just forget about it? That is unfair. Please don't forget the issues that your partner brings up to you. The fact that you remember and you try to fix it will tell them that you care about them, and then they'll also reciprocate. Next time you also talk about something, they will also make it important to them and try to remember and not do it again. So let's not leave scars on our partners when we are trying to fix conflict. Yes, and the last one that we're talking about is when you take another person's opinion instead of your partner's opinion. You're trying to fix a conflict, you're trying to resolve an issue. And then the solution that your partner comes up with, you brush that one aside, and then you try to hold on to the one that may be your friend or your mother or your father or your sister suggested. So that it's more like, okay, I accept that this is a problem, but we should fix it this way. You that you are in the situation with them, they are not listening to you. They rather want to listen to what somebody else is saying. They rather want to implement the solution that somebody else apart from the two of you is bringing to the table. And that is so unfair. Many marriages have broken because their partners would prefer to listen to their family members or to their friends rather than to them. And the sad thing is that maybe they even accept that there's an issue, just that they are not accepting their partner's solution for whatever issue that is. And in essence, the issue is still not resolved because the most important person or the two most important people in the situation, you are not taking their solution, you are rather listening to somebody outside to fix the issue. And let's clarify. Sometimes if you get into a place where the both of you are not able to resolve your conflict, whatever solution that a third party brings to you should be something that both of you agree to or both of you accept. That is different from when one party thinks there's a problem, or both of you accept that there's a problem, but one party thinks a third party solution is better than what both of you want. I hope the difference is clear, right? So now let's look at a few things that we can do, a few ways in which we can handle conflict that will help us not to leave scars, that will help us not to cause more problems for the future. The first one is that we need to be honest. We need to be honest in resolving conflict. There's nothing more painful about than your partner bringing up an issue and then you keep changing the facts. It's like they can never get you to tell them exactly what happened. And sometimes women do this a lot. They know the answer to whatever question they are asking you. But just because you are not telling the truth, it makes it difficult to move forward. If they cannot trust you about what happened or about the facts of the issue, how are we going to move forward with the issue in the first place? So it's important that whenever there's conflict, please be a Christian and be honest. Don't change the facts to cover yourself so that you are not guilty. If you're guilty, it's your partner that you are talking to. You shouldn't be so scared of your partner that you have to cover your tracks. Be open and honest. Without you being honest, how do you expect the conflict to be resolved? And it's a little bit scary to admit your fault, that to admit that you did wrong, because nobody really, it's not really fun to just come and be like, oh, I did wrong. But it's important. If you did wrong, you did wrong. You've already done it.
Look, I made myself some eggs.
Good job. Go ahead. So it's important that you be honest. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And it's your partner that you're talking to. It's not like you are in court trying to defend yourself, or you are airing everything in public for people to take sides and know who was wrong and who was right. It's just between the two of you. So it's important that you be honest. Be honest about the situation. Just tell the truth so that you can resolve your conflict without leaving scars. Because the more you dig in your heels and try to cover your tracks, the bigger the problem gets and the worse the situation becomes. Whenever there's conflict, please be strong, be honest, and be open. That's the only way to move forward and be able to fix the situation. Another way that can help you fix
Hey, Mom.
conflicts. Oh dear, can you come talk to me after the program, please? Okay?
I wanted to show you this. I
No,
got
no.
this for Christmas. Yes.
Yes, so it's important that you be honest. Lay your cards on the table. It will help you fix everything faster. Another way is also to be kind. Let's say you are the one who has been offended. It's important that you try not to make the other person feel so bad. Because remember, today is their turn, tomorrow it may be your turn. That's why some people like to say, but you're also not perfect, right? They're trying to just avoid taking the blame. But if you are kind in addressing your issues, if you are kind in sparing your partner's feelings by not like digging your heels in, making them feel bad, it will be easier for them to cave. It will be easier for them to open up for you to resolve whatever issues that you have. Please be kind when you're bringing up issues, because today they may be the one who may be guilty, but tomorrow it could be you. If you're kind to them, they will be kind to you. And if you are kind to each other, that is when you're being good Christians. That is when you're making life a little bit easier for each other. Okay. Another way to be able to fix conflicts without leaving scars is that when you realize that tempers are running very high, everybody's angry, people, words are getting out of hand. The things that you said you wouldn't say, you're beginning to say. It's important that you take a break. Just tell your partner, well, can we just take a break and come back and finish later? It's not compulsory that once you started the issue, you have to finish it there and then. When tempers are getting out of control, it's important that you take a break. Hard as it may be, it's more important that you take a break to prevent yourself from causing damage with your words or your actions than to keep going. So if you feel tempers are getting heated, things are getting out of hand, take a break or just shelve the issue. Okay, can we talk about this later? And then walk away. Go take a walk, go do something else. Just leave that matter for a while so that it doesn't get out of hand. And whenever tempers have cooled down, you can always come back and continue from where you left off and be able to talk it through to the end. So it's important that when tempers get out of hand, take a break and come back to the issue later. Another way to help you resolve conflict is that you need to apologize if you are the one who has wronged your partner. It's important that when you've heard your partner and you've realized that something that you did not go well, it's important to admit it and apologize. Because usually, after you apologize, the issue would often die down. It is when you don't admit that you did anything wrong that the issue keeps going on and on and on and doesn't get resolved. And sometimes it may not be your fault. Maybe deep down you don't think you're wrong, or deep down your partner doesn't think they are wrong. But whenever you realize that you did something wrong between you and your partner, please be a Christian, admit your fault, and apologize. Some people will see that what they did was wrong, but for them to admit it, it will never happen. They will never admit it. And when your partner knows you know you were wrong, how is this issue ever going to be resolved? They're just going to keep it in their heart. Because sometimes when you know you are wrong, they've seen that you know you were wrong, but you are just digging in your heels and refusing to apologize. You are just making their heads keep going. You're just increasing their pain. You're just making the issue even bigger. So, just between you and your partner, if you realize that you were wrong, just apologize and let the matter die. Just apologize. A good apology can just tame all tempers, can just cool down everything, and just reset the clock. It doesn't take anything from you when you apologize. It only makes you somebody who is easier to live with. And once you apologize, the matter dies. Most of the time, after you have apologized, the person doesn't even feel like bringing up the issue anymore because they tend to even forget about it because it's been resolved. And sometimes for the same issue, both of you may be wrong somewhere. So let's say for the same issue, you wronged your partner by what you did, and your partner also wronged you by something that they did. You could both apologize to each other. It doesn't take anything from you. So you apologize for your part, your partner also apologize for their part, and then the issue is resolved. Everybody has some peace. But most of the time, this is where a lot of conflicts become stalemate. Nobody wants to accept blame. Nobody wants to take responsibility for what they did. They just leave things to keep going. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's right. So let's keep going. Nobody apologizes. That's not going to help. So for me, hey, Dr. Botte, you're welcome. Dr. Botte says, okay, he has heard. Sister Elsie says, apologize and accept your punishment. You see, when you add punishment, that is something that some people may be trying to run away from. So you just tell them, hey, you just admit it. I won't do anything. Sometimes partners are afraid that if they admit that they are wrong, you would expect something more from them. And that's what they are running away from. But the thing is, if you admit that you are wrong, even when something is asked of you and you refuse to do it, at least you've done your part, you've admitted. And if you have to do something to appease your partner, why not? Don't worry, your partner is not perfect. Next time they'll also do something, and you also get your chance to get something from them. See how it works. Do it for me, I'll do it for you. If you're wrong, admit it so that me too, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And then we can both be happier in the marriage and have better communication. So, the last point here about how to resolve conflict without leaving scars is that sometimes there are some issues that are too big for the two of you to handle. Every once in a while, every once in a few years or something, there's something may come up that is too big for the two of you to handle by yourselves. And if you realize that over a period you are not able to agree, you keep having conflicts, please bring in a third party. You can go for professional counseling, or you can talk to somebody who is more knowledgeable and you both think they may be able to help you resolve your issues. Because if you have conflict and you leave it hanging or you ignore it, you are only trying to create an atmosphere that is not healthy for the both of you in the marriage. So when you get to a point where you feel like this is beyond us, we've tried everything we can, we are still not being able to resolve this conflict, it's important that you get a third party. Bring in a third party who you both believe can help you. or go for professional couples counseling. Let a professional help you. Because sometimes we hear over and over again that never share your marital issues and never let your issues go out. That is how you build up a history of unresolved issues that are just going to harm you and not going to help the marriage. Issues need to be fixed, and they need to be fixed in a healthy way so that you don't leave scars and that you don't end up hating each other little by little. The couples that hate each other, they don't start hating each other in one day. It builds up over time, and a lot of it is from unresolved conflict. So, hopefully, whenever there's conflict, you will avoid some of the bad habits that we keep going to that makes conflicts worse and keep leaving scars. And then you're able to use some of the good habits that will help you make it easier for your partner to open up and share whatever it is that went on, and also help them to be able to admit their part in the conflict and be able to apologize. So, hopefully, if there are no questions, if there are no contributions, this is where we will draw the curtain to a close tonight. I hope that you learned one thing or another. And my prayer is that whenever there's conflict, don't run away, stay and resolve it, and don't run to the bad habits. Don't belittle your partner. Don't name call. Don't just stonewall and create a cold atmosphere for as long as you like and then come back when you feel like it. And also, don't go preferring third party solutions. But whenever there's conflict, be kind, be honest, just confess if you know that there's something that you're hiding. And also, if you know or you can see clearly that you were wrong, just admit it and apologize so that the matter will die and not keep coming up. So, until we come your way again with another interesting topic, God willing, next week, same time. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your contributions. And like we always say, it takes a good Christian to have a good Christian marriage. So until we meet again, God bless your marriage and goodbye.